Wow.
Thank you so much. I'll just wait till we get started though before I thank you.
Okay.
Prince did an interesting presentation last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it on?
Spaceships and Easter Bunny.
I mean, not.
You're gonna be mad at me about that one.
Yeah, he is. You gonna get it about that one. Hey, peace, family. This is Jamie from Sankofa, 180 degrees. Hey, we at it again. We got a banger for you today, family. We got the Queen Yamaya doing a part 2, right? She's doing a part 2 on the post-traumatic stress,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Part 2.
Yeah, and so so listen, fam, you don't want to miss it. You gotta tune in, right? Gotta tune in. Hey, King, what you think, man?
Yeah, well, welcome to Queen, man. Thank you again for blessing us with your presentation. And I'm gonna put up part 1. I'm gonna find part 1 on YouTube and place that alongside of or underneath part 2. So people have both of them on Sankofa 180 degrees. So welcome to a $180 Sankofa, where we take it back and get what's been stolen from us and reclaim what we let go of. And so that's what Sankofa is all about. And we're gonna keep it really copacetic with respect and our language and share appropriately and honestly. We try to build here on Sankofa, and we're trying to build the communities, not just for our purpose, but our personal gain, but for a worldwide spread, as far as we can reach and as deep as we can reach. So on Sundays, next week, I think Eric is going to be presenting, and Eric is a scholar. He's like 30 years in, right? And so he's going to bring something real proper. We've been communicating with, me and Jamie been communicating with Eric for, a couple of times during this week and last week, and I'm just really intrigued by his scholarship. So tune in for that. The following week is going to be the children's book read again. So encourage the parents to allow their children to join in with the children's read. They have a good time, and then we do a raffle, and we got a new gadget where we can put the children's name on it after the children put their name in the chat, and they spin a wheel, and we have a free book for you. And so I was looking around for my books, but they're in the other room. And so we don't charge you nothing. You ain't got to pay nothing to be on here. Jamie takes care of his end. I take care of my end. And then we just offer it up to everybody free. And so we encourage people to come on in and share your, belief systems, what you studied up on, what you agree on, what you don't agree on. And maybe we can heal, together. And so, and again, next week, we on the first Sunday, we do a book read for the children. We do that raffle, and then we ship that book off to you free of charge to that child. All we ask is that the child come back the following month and read that book, and then we do the raffle all over again. So Jamie got pounds of books. I got a few books laid up, to be shipped out. So we locked and loaded.
All right.
And one more thing. We have one of our dudes, Reg, is going to do a safety and survival presentation. That's coming up soon too. And so it's really necessary. Reg lives off grid, and he got it locked down. So.
Hey, me and the Queen was just talking to little some about that too. Hey, hey, and so I was just telling her that I ain't never thought that I'd be one of them people that one of them doomsday preppers or whatever you call it. You know what I mean? But it's just getting weird out here, man. So I just thought, we thought rather that Red's, he's living off grid, so he knows all about the survival and all that kind of stuff. So I just thought it would be nice, man, to put something out there on that, man. That's all.
Yeah. Carrie, what's going on, Carrie?
I'm here. I'm excited. And I already told the Queen how beautiful she is, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad that we're all here, and I'm sure other people will be joining as they can. I'm excited.
I sure wish we could virtually share some of that sweet potato melody.
Yeah, buddy. So without further ado, I would just want to introduce a member of Sankofa, 180 degrees, is Queen Yamaya. Hey, Queen, you can go ahead and introduce yourself again to the people that don't know, and then tell them what we're doing today.
All right, greetings, Sankofa. My sister Queen Carrie, my brother King and my brother King Jamie. Greetings to everybody from nice and chilly Cleveland, Ohio, home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and home of the queen who makes the best sweet potato pies in town. That's the real. But I dare anybody to challenge me. The last time somebody challenged me was with their grandma sweet potato pie. Said, you don't make better pies than my grandma. I said, watch me. I brought that sister those sweet potato pies. She bought the stuff. I made those sweet potato pies. And she bit into that crispy crust and she was like, girl, my grandma, turn it over in her grave because your pie is better than hers.
You done started something up. You done started something with the elders.
I love you, Grandma, but my sweet potato pies are amazing.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I always like to start off with something that's going to give us a positive feel and energy, so that we can sort of be we're in the same room, and I want us to all share the same joy like Carrie. She says she's excited. That's good energy. I'm excited too. It's been a while since I've been in the room with you guys. So it's just wonderful to be present with you today. So today, my subject is post-traumatic slavery syndrome, which we already did part 1. I presented that. So we're going to be in part 2 and trying to wrap it up. I hope you guys got a chance to read the book. If you did read the book, if you did get the book, I hope you got a lot out of it, because for me, I will be getting a lot out of it for a long time, because it sort of launched me into my consciousness. It was part of my journey of opening my mind as to who I am and who my people are, and some of the history of our people as far as our psychology and our mentalness goes. It really helped me out a lot. So I'm going to share part 2 with you, even though we can do a whole bunch of parts, but I'm going to just leave it up to you guys who got the books and who are still studying the works of Dr. Joy DeGruy. So if I can share the screen with you guys right now.
Okay. I have to tell you that I didn't read it yet. I got a couple historical civilization books open, and I got to finish those, but I'm definitely getting into it.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yep, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
All right. Like I said, we're in the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy. Okay, so can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Everybody see? Okay.
Okay, now we see we now before you start, we see the whole PowerPoint,
The platform, the PowerPoint platform.
we see the whole platform where you can adjusted and all that. So I don't know if you want us to see that or just the
I think the last time I tried to do it, and I tried to show it, the slideshow.
Right.
Tried to
yeah.
do that. You guys couldn't see it. We couldn't see it.
Yeah. So this is good. This is
Okay.
good.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to, wanted you to know that that's what we're seeing.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Just as long as it's moving right along. So this is Dr. Joy DeGruy, and I'm just going to do basically just go over a little of the stuff that we learned from our last time pursuing this subject on post-traumatic slave syndrome. This is Dr. Joy DeGruy. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in communication, a master's degree in social work, a master's degree in clinical psychology, and a PhD in social work research. And her research focuses on the intersection of racism, trauma, violence, and American chattel slavery. What is post-traumatic slave syndrome? It's a small synopsis. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is a condition that exists when a population has experienced multi-generational trauma resulting from centuries of slavery and continues to experience oppression, meaning that population continues to experience oppression and institutionalized racism. And I'm going to throw this in there, which is still occurring today. Added to this condition is belief, real or imagined, that the benefits of the society in which they live, that population, and we're talking about the descendants of those from chattel slavery, in which they live, are not accessible. We don't think that the benefits out there that other people, have, we don't think that they're accessible to us. So then this then is post-traumatic slave syndrome. So if you could remember from the last time, I went through a lot of stuff, and I know you might be able to remember some stuff and some stuff you're not going to remember, but these two stood out for me, and that was vacant esteem and ever-present anger. Vacant esteem is a state of believing oneself to have little or no worth, and ever-present anger is the ability to become angry suddenly. And as we look around us and we see what's going on in our society today, we can definitely see the ever-present anger. And the thing about it was, I really didn't get it, why, especially with Black people, why they were so easily angered. I just talked to a young gentleman about 18 years old. I work with kids 17 to 24, and he's trying to find his way. He's 18 years old, and he was telling me about his anger problem. And most of the young men who come into our program, it's called the Advanced Technology Academy. We assist these young people in getting what we call living wage jobs through short-term training, so they can get out of McDonald's and Burger King and out the warehouse where they're, cashiers, train them for better jobs. But at any rate, he was talking about how he finally realized he had an anger issue. But he's not the only one. I meet all the time when we get new cohorts of kids, 18 to 24, they are angry. So when we, and you want to know why are you so mad? A lot of them don't even know why they're angry, but ever-present anger is a reality, something that we're gonna have to deal with as we go forward as a people. So ever-present anger's role in chattel slavery. As we all know, slavery was an angry and violent process whites were examples of anger and violence in every aspect of enslavement. Africans learned that anger and violence were necessary to get their needs met. Now, I want to stop right there because that's a glaring statement right there, that Black people learned that anger and violence were necessary to get their needs met. And so I'm just going to open the floor for comments in that regard. Anybody?
Yeah. So Carrie, what do you think of that statement? What have you seen, throughout life?
Well, I, I think that it is something that, I think that especially I have seen it in, well, in you, and in talking to your family about you growing up. And, I know there was some underlying anger there. And you have really, as you've become more awakened in your growth in Kemet and all of that, I've seen, and over the last few years, I've seen you just relax and find peace within yourself. And I know that it's been a journey for you, and I know it's taken work. And every day I'm so thankful to see you find that peace within you. I felt it was in there, and now I think you feel it, and I see it every day. You are my rock, and you bring. I always thought I was so peaceful and easygoing, and you have helped me in a million ways, regaining my ground on those areas. So yeah, yeah. So I need to read the rest of the book too. I've skimmed over it. I speed read, and I need to really slow down and look at it, and so that's why I'm really thankful for this presentation.
You're welcome, Sherry. Yeah.
So
So
Carrie has a background as well in social work.
awesome,
So,
awesome.
yeah.
So she's been out there, on the front line,
Yeah.
dealing with people who are, who are the descendants of those who experience this anger and violence, from the racist white supremacists, the plantation owner, because what we're talking about is the ever-present anger role in chattel slavery and how whites were examples. The white people were an example to the Black people of how their anger, their violence, the whippings, the hangings, how even though it was very terrorist and very violent, it kept the slave population under control, right? So even though it was as magnanimous as it was, evil and nasty, Black people learned that that worked. Even to this day, as we look at, the gangbangers, and we look at the people just coming in places and wheeling out guns and shooting folks, they are in control, right?
Right.
They're in control. So in those times during slavery, we learned that anger and that violence were necessary
I,
to
I, I
get where you wanted to get. And so, that is something that people still are doing. I mean, who did we have an example as our descendants were uh, enslaved, chained, and they didn't have any choice, and even though maybe in the homeland in Africa, I know there were lots of tribal wars and stuff like that, but I don't think that they ever saw anything like the way the racist white supremacists treated the slave as their own property and could treat them as nasty and as violently as they wanted to keep control. So and another thing, this is based also on what's the name
Oh,
of that?
hold
The
on one
Willie,
second.
yeah, the Willie Lynch book. Anybody ever read that?
Can we
Yeah.
pause for 1 second? 1 second. I just wanted to comment on that last part too.
Okay.
Uh, uh, and you kind of said it though. I don't think that they had to come through the transatlantic slave trade to learn that anger and violence were necessary to get their needs met.
Mhm.
Because we had went through a sub-Saharan slave trade as well. Uh, uh, you know, you know, and that lasted like 1,200 years,
Mhm.
right? That's about 1,200 years of the sub-Saharan slave trade. So so they're not they wasn't this the slavery part was not nothing new to Africa, right?
Right. Mhm.
And so I don't and for them to learn about that anger and violence was necessary. No, they were having tribal wars, as you said,
Mhm.
even before then, and they knew that they realized, what it was because they would have prisoners at war. You know what I mean? Like Egypt would have prisoners at war. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You would become uh you would become, like I said, a POW,
Mhm.
but you were able to work your way into the society, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So into where, but it wasn't the same kind of slavery, right? You
Right.
know, so
Right.
but it was a prisoner of war, and they understood prisoner of war. Once you conquered a tribe, whoever
Mhm.
was left was, was a prisoner of war or slave, however you wanted to label it, right?
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I don't think that they had to come to the transatlantic slave trade to
Mhm.
learn that anger and violence was necessary to get their needs met. I
Yeah.
I, I imagine that we were probably the first ones that came that brought that about, that knew that this is how you got the attention of people,
Yeah.
through what I mean, that
Yeah.
kind of attention. But yeah, go
Right.
ahead.
Or
That's all.
let me chime in. Do you mind?
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay. Even going back further than that is the invasion of Constantine and the Serapis effect and how Arius was treated, and that's 325 AD. And when me and Jamie was growing up, they put this crew called the Guardian Angels. They wore berets. They got to carry sticks and all kinds of batons and handcuffs and stuff like that. White people into the Black community, right?
Mhm.
And so that was just to me that was that reflects Africans learned, Black people learned that anger and violence were necessary to get their needs met. They came ready for war, right? And so what are we going to do? Just bow down? Not even close. You have to
Mhm.
react, right? You have to react, right?
Right.
And so, I really wish that I would have known what I know today back
Mhm.
then.
Mhm.
Man, it would have been a better movement. And I think that the effect of Ma'at, the 42 laws of Ma'at definitely had an influence on me. I will not cause anyone to cry. I will not speak over much, which I got
Mhm.
work to do in that. But I've been doing a lot better, because it incites that anger and violence.
I
Um,
think that one day we should do some presentations and do some learnings on the 42 laws of my all 42.
yeah.
We can, this is just a suggestion. We can break them up and everybody present and talk about them. How about that?
Great idea.
Yes, everybody gonna break them up. Carrie, Jamie, one of the kids, and Prince, or whoever else, our scholar, just give everybody some laws of my aunt and give everybody a chance to present, because we all need to get more familiar. I believe, with the laws of my aunt. And so thank you everybody for your input and your perspective. I certainly do appreciate it. We all need it. We are all teachers and we are all learners at the same time. So I appreciate
So
that.
I wanted to ask you, how did you see that Africans learned that anger and violence were necessary to get their needs met? How did you see that play out in the church under First Ladyship?
Well, in my time as a first lady, I would be very observant of the behavior of the congregation, and that included me, and that included my husband. And I noticed that there were some very angry people around me, and I knew that it was because there was some unresolved hurt going on the inside. And so a lot of people don't want to open up about their hurts, about the things that are, that they don't understand, or something that they've been through. It's never been healed. So they leash out in anger. So as a first lady, I saw a lot of that. And, my thing at the time was that, there just was not, how can I say it, an atmosphere of love present at the time. So in my purpose as a first lady, I started support groups, started a support group for the women, especially. My husband started a support group for the gentlemen, and we came together and we got to know one another, first of all, and to study love per the Bible, and try to understand and deal with those hurts on the inside that was making people angry, and they didn't understand that they were angry because they still had these unresolved hurts on the inside, damage on the inside, So as a leader, first lady leader, I brought the ladies together with a support group, help them understand that this was a no judgment zone, no judgment zone. Whatever we talk about here stays here. This is a place of love, joy, and unity. And it just worked. It just worked. So a lot of anger issues came out. People were still angry at their mama. They were still angry at their daddy. They were still angry at their boss, but they never really talked about it. So in that space, people were able to get together and talk about those things. And of course, firstly, we prayed about those things, and people were getting healed in their mental health. Now, right now, our culture, especially after COVID, just messed everybody's head up. We're into that mental health. People are espousing mental health. People are encouraging folks to take care of their mental health. But remember, guys, as Black people, what was our mental health? Our mental health thing was whatever happened at home, stayed at home.
Right.
If Uncle Joe was molesting all the little girls, and the little girls went and tried to tell somebody, the grown up was telling, well, you shut up. Uncle Joe wouldn't do no stuff like that. Uncle Joe never got persecuted for what he did. So as a first lady, I just pulled all the ladies together, started a support group, and assured them that they were safe, safe place. There's no judgment there. There was, none of that. Just love and listening ears, and spiritual growth. And it just really, it was very, very successful. The name of our group was Love One Another. And I did it for a while, and it really made a difference in our congregations, so that, to answer your question. But also in that point right there, I don't know why in my spirit I have so much focus on that, but in that statement that came from the book, it says Africans learned that anger and violence were necessary to get their needs met. And so in my spirit, I'm hearing it wasn't that they learned to how to get their needs met. It was that they saw that the the plantation owner or whoever was exercising this anger and violence was exercising it to get their needs met.
Right. They see how they got to peep how they were working.
Yes, yes,
Exactly. How their clock ticks.
yes, they use that type of violence and control to get their needs met, not the Africans getting their needs met. So thank you, Spirit. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a good depiction of what you were talking about.
Yes.
Because we already know that, you know, anger wasn't brought about by slavery.
No.
You know, I think it's innate ability, you know, an innate necessity, right?
Yeah.
And so, but speaking specifically about how it affected us, right?
Absolutely, yes. And
And how it plays out in our lives today and through our own homes. In my home, I was really fortunate. My mother was a lawyer, and so she was out in the community a lot, and my dad too.
okay.
And my dad was a reverend, and my stepfather was an evangelist and a journeyman electrician. So just to that point, they were out in the community a lot, and so they helped a lot of people a lot, and they were that advocate like you know, expressed. And so in our home, it was always encouraged, you know, talk about what's going on, right? Talk about what's going on with you, right? But don't talk about what's going on in the house, right? Because you know, right? Talk about what's going on with you, right? She really specified that, right?
Okay.
And so I was really fortunate that we didn't have the molestations and the rapes in our home, but we had it rampant right in our blocks, right in our blocks. So in a rampant way.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. Basically, we're talking about ourselves as a people. As a people, unfortunately, a lot of time we don't think about ourselves as a people. We always think about me, 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 you know, all the time. And you know what? As a people, we won't make it if we keep on concentrating on me, me, me all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna skip this one.
Hold on. Okay, you're gonna skip it?
Yeah, well, you know, no, I'm not. Okay. In their 1968 book, Black Rage, we got to get this book too, you guys. Greer and Cobbs, those are the authors, point out that the history of slavery and the failure of America to successfully integrate the Black citizenry into the social and political fabric of America to allow them fair and equal access has led to a very real and lasting rage in African Americans, especially in the view of the lies perpetuated about equality of access by the powers that be.
Yeah, you could not miss that one.
Can't miss that one.
Can't miss that one. I mean, because that's what Sankofa is all about, right?
That's right.
Right.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
One of the first things Jamie told me was, "Hey, welcome, Eric. Welcome, Eric. You're viewing and listening to Queen Yamaya. She used to be a first lady of her church for 15 years. You said
15 years. Yes.
15 years, and she popped in our lives, man, and been such a blessing of you know, don't use no excuses to misbehave."
I helped y'all. I got y'all back on the right track.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And thank you for presenting.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, Eric.
Nice to meet you.
Same here, Eric. We appreciate you. We're all, like I was telling everybody in the room, we are all teachers and we are all learners at the same time.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, so we go back to that a very real and lasting rage. And is African Americans, especially in the view of the lies perpetuated about equality of access by the powers of be. And that equality of access is still an illusion. That's an illusion. At my job, I work for Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College, which is one of the most premier junior colleges in the United States. 60 years, this year, 60 years old. And they have us taking so many classes on equity and inclusion. It's just getting on my nerves. Okay.
Right.
Because until the racist white supremacist yields power over to Black people, it'll never be equal. It'll never be equal. Why the Japanese got money for what they went through, right? They got reparations. The Indians, it's still as bad as they treat the indigenous Indian population in the United States, they still are getting money all the time, right? We are still the only group of people who never received that monetary item called a reparation, and we're not going to ever get it. And a lot of the white politicians says, "Oh well, we gave you a Black president. That's your reparation." Okay, I'm gonna keep going. All right.
Yeah. So let me just so that's a big point right there, right? Because I don't think we're going to get the reparations.
We're not gonna get it.
I mean, they just had the Asians get jumped on, at their massage parlors and stuff. Shot them up, immediately gave them reparations, right? And so on. And so one of the things that Jamie walked me down from really early in the game was about being angry about the information that is now at our hands and all the just a immense amount of information that reflects totally on this subject, right? And so I don't think we're going to ever see equality in our time. I think it's coming. I think it's coming because people are standing up and waking up abroad, right? Not just Black people. People are just waking up, and I think other than the melanated people, that they're getting scared, right? Because we're coming, right? We're coming, and it ain't about they ain't giving up power. We're gonna have to take it, right? We're gonna have to take it, and we're gonna have to take it rightfully, and so laws are gonna change, all that kind of stuff. But as to see equality in our time, I don't think that's happening. But it's a movement, and I think it's very possible.
Yes. So the point is that when we talk about that ever-present anger, and you know what? As a people, we have a right to be angry, like every day. But you know what? I have decided that I'm not going to allow anger to be my motivating factor, and so that's what I pray for everybody in the room, that we're not going to allow anger to be our motivator. Yes, it's there. I can't. What was that? The Black guy who died. He said he gave that cliche.
Oh, Chadwick.
Good trouble.
Oh, you talking about the senator?
Yeah, the senator.
Yeah. Good trouble.
Good
John
trouble.
Lewis.
Yeah, John Lewis. I use good trouble all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, let's keep on promoting good trouble. We're doing what we're doing. You're causing us trouble because we have a positive goal in mind. So let's keep walking in good trouble. So okay.
Let's see if Eric wants to say anything on that from what he heard so far. You want to wait to hear some more?
Anybody else want to get anything? Any thoughts? Any input, a perspective?
Yeah, a question is, I'm sorry, are you asking about because I came in late.
Yeah, you came in late. Yeah, we were talking about
we was talking about you, Eric.
No, we weren't.
I hope good things.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I promoted you for next week.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so this is my stop to think about it. Even though we've been thinking about it as long as we've been discussing it. But this is the question at this point. How can we transform this anger into something more productive and useful?
All right. And let me just show, even though I sent Eric the flyer, I just wanted to, let me see.
Yeah, by Joy DeGrew.
Yeah. You got that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Awesome,
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is you guys, this is everybody's turn. This is the question. How do you think we can transform this anger into something more productive and useful?
Right off the top, and mine is short. Mine right off the top is what I inputted earlier is how the 42 laws of my aunt really affected me. It first affected me by not throwing trash out the car, right? Might be a minor thing because it says do not pollute the earth, right? And I didn't want to pollute my car, so I just throw it out, right? Carrie would say, "Oh my God, tighten up and give me that look," and so that was the first thing. And then I'm really working on not speaking over much, right? I'm really working on that. And then you know, do not make somebody cry, do not speak in haste, do not a few other ones, they really had an impact on me, so Jamie sent that out first, and he recommended that I send that to anybody that may be interested in stuff. And then I started with James Smalls, and he got hyphy and stuff, but still he brought out points. And how can I be most effective, right? How can I be most effective? Even though I have a demeanor that's assertive, I'm practicing more in certain forms, not abroad in life, but in certain forms to be more I guess, and more of a monotone, and more of more confidence, right? And more confidence is a reflection of having a calmer demeanor, right? Right, because I like to share with passion, and my share of passion is assertive, and so I'm just trying to be show more confidence, even though I'm of the utmost confidence. I'm trying to exuberate confidence in a more calmer demeanor,
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that you taken your anger and did the work to bring yourself under control. That's what I'm hearing. You have worked to exercise. You recognize your anger. You recognize it. It's a challenge, but you know that it's not helping you. And you made a decision, through the laws of my aunt that helped you tremendously to turn that around. Because one thing about the laws of my aunt is they let you know that you have the power,
right? Come on,
to exercise those laws, that you don't have to have an outside entity tell you thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. On the inside that you have the power and the authority to get your own self where you want to be.
Right. I don't have to call on someone to give me permission.
There you go. So that is one way. Thank you. That is one way that we can transform, our anger to be more productive and useful. Thank you, Aunt.
Yeah, and I don't have to call on someone to give me the strength, right?
That's right.
Call upon Jesus, and he will provide. And a couple people talked to me recently about I'm going to ask God for this. And I'm saying you already got it, man. Just go on and activate that. Let's just get it.
That's
All right.
right.
Hey,
So,
well, let me tell you a little something. Like, okay, like how I found out. I did mine through. I kind of found out through. Uh, I, it was kind of weird because like I knew that I had a real aggressive personality, right? I knew I had a really, really aggressive personality, man, and I knew this, right? And well, I didn't know it until I was able to sit back and take a look, right, in the mirror, right? And I was like, damn, man, you kind of you kind of overbearing with it, man, because I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, I was, man. I mean, because I called myself.
Yeah.
I had went through a program. I went through this program, and and it was a year. It was a year program. And I went through the program twice. Purposely. You know what I mean? That's because it was just real interesting, right? And so I'm, I'm kind of like paying attention to myself. You know what I mean? And learning about myself, man. And and it was like I was like, damn, man. You really was a trip, man. Like I don't understand how you still living. You know what I mean? Like the stuff I used to do and stuff like that, right? And so I get to this other program, right, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I go down to this. He was an employment specialist, right? And I go down first time meeting the guy. I go down, I talk to him, and and after the conversation, he really brought it to myself. He brought it to my attention, man, and I had spent 2 years, King. Really, I mean, family. I spent this 2 years really working on lightening up. My just my overall approach to people and things. You know what I mean? And it was real aggressive, man. And so I called myself working on it. Anyways, long story short, I spent the 2 years. I get to this place and after the conversation was over, the specialist was like, "Hey man, I hope you don't mind me saying." He said, "But you might want to think about like you really need to like tone it down. You're really aggressive." And I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Damn!" I mean, I was really kind of hurt, man, because I was like, "Damn, I've been spending all this time lightening up." You know what I mean? Like really lighting up, you know what I mean? And he was like, "You're really aggressive." I'm like, "What?" So I must have been like, so I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, dude, you was really fucked up then, dude. If this is really aggressive to him now, and I've been knowing about this now for the last 2 to 3 years now. So I've been working on this purposely, you know what I mean? On this part, because this was one of my downfall. People didn't even want to approach me, you know.
Yeah. Don't I know?
I mean, so it was like, so I was like, so I was like, damn, man, I don't want to be like that, man. I just don't want to be that way. I want people to be able to approach me and talk to me, but
oh,
people, you know what I mean? And so I come on, so then that's really threw me off, man. And I knew I was like, damn, man, what is it? What
mm.
is it, man? And
Well, what was it?
it, I,
Why were you so angry? Why
I
were you so
I think that because of
angry?
the place that I was at, because I had just did time in the feds.
Okay.
Okay. So, and I was in a halfway house at that point in time. And so I was in that frame of mind of even when before I even went to the feds, I was in that action type. I was actually just action, just I'm not, it's I was, it was just no, man, it was horrible. Put it like that. You know what I mean? It was really horrible. It was just I was just anxious to get into something.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to do something to somebody. I just, I was couldn't wait.
Yeah.
Type.
But
You know
why?
what I mean?
But why? But why though?
Right. I don't. And I'm not. I think it was because I had my environment, man, where I was at. I mean, I don't know. It was where I was at and where it was really self. I did it to myself.
Mhm,
I
So
mhm.
put
it
my
was like that. So it was like that before then. So
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah,
for
yeah,
you to
yeah, yeah.
explore. It was like that. You just explained that it was like that before, the Fed, before the halfway house, and before the interaction with that cat, that counselor, right? So it was like that before. So that's something for you to explore, man.
Yeah, yeah.
The one thing that I'm in this program, man, and this is what really attracted me because we get down to um, precise items of attitude, behaviors, and conditions and causes, right? And so, it's just something to, you know, look at, Jamie, and inventory. I can help you with some of that shit, man. What I found is insecurity. I'm insecure, right? And I'm a very secure person, right? But
Well, I'm
there's areas of insecurity that I wasn't willing to look at or admit until I looked at them, and then my demeanor, my character, has me to look at it and and address it.
Yeah, and so, to segue from what you just said, it just goes back to when I said that so many people have so many internal hurts, so many injuries from the things that they have encountered as a child, as a teenager, growing up in their environment. Like the young man I was talking to the other day, he told me his mother was a drug addict and his aunt had raised him. So he had a lot of anger issues about his mother and having I mean, he's just 18 years old. He's got no contact with his mother because she's out there in the streets on drugs, and his dad is in his life, but he's hit and miss and stuff like that. So I believe every one of us has that story to tell about some hidden hurt, anger issues, and things like that. But what we're seeing in post-traumatic slavery syndrome, you know, and all of our life as a people, as a culture, as a Black people who are still feeling the effects of the psychosis from the slavery,
Exactly.
we're still being affected by those things. Then this thing called ever-present anger, that we have a right to be angry, because we're still under the foot of the oppressor, the racist white supremacists. But we don't want to play the victim forever. So how are we going to take that anger and turn it around to a more positive and productive event? And so that's where we get to my next slide called "Let the Healing Begin." There's a lot of healing that needs to be done.
I don't know if Eric and Carrie wanted to share something on that, but
Yeah.
I wanted to say too that I was thinking on what you presented last week, and you just brought it up, is that our ancestors' experience has that ripple effect in our life today, and when we're being told and telling ourselves we don't need to look at that, we don't need to attend to that and address it, and Mr. Broader, he said that we have at least 1,024 of our ancestors' effects vibrating through us, right? And it doesn't mean just the negative, the laws of my the cultural stuff and all that kind of stuff too as well. And but we're trained because of this damage that was done that we're supposed to overlook, while other people are continuing to utilize it over us, and then we influx it, we impart it in our families and stuff, and so I get to look at my demeanor. That's the answer to the question, and I didn't know if Eric and Carrie wanted to address that question.
Chime in, yeah.
Do you want to go back to
Well,
that? Do you want to go back to that slide where that question is?
it don't matter. I'll be the last one because it doesn't matter. Carrie, let Carrie go if she wants to say something.
No, I'm good.
I'm
This
just
is
trying to get
interesting.
situated.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Speaking about anger, just so happens that's my profession. That's what I've been doing for the last uh almost 27 years. Is working with at-risk youth and in different capacities, from emergency shelters to public school system to currently uh, working with juvenile justice. So when we talk about anger, as we all know, it's an emotion. But what I see is with the young boys, because the kids I'm working with predominantly black kids. Um, Percentage wise, they represent probably 90 at any given time, 93 to 95% of the total population of the juvenile center.
And,
And my
and Eric, and
particular
Eric, you in Ohio too, right?
no, Michigan. That's in Michigan. I live in Indiana, but I work in Michigan.
And where do you work in Michigan City?
No, the state of Michigan.
Yeah, what city? Do you mind?
Not Berrien. I work in
Oh,
Berrien County. I work for
okay,
Berrien
Berrien
County.
County. Yeah, I'm familiar. Okay, okay.
Yeah, Berrien County. So anyway,
Mhm.
on the resident, we have a both a residential and a detention side for post and pre adjudicated youth. But to the anger piece, the kids come in mad as heck a lot of times. Anger is driven by other emotions a lot of times too. I've learned that from my own studies. Anger is not the first emotion a person really hits if something is not going in their direction. It's something a lot of times these kids feel first before they feel just mad. Um, there's something called the hierarchy of needs. Well, this white dude get credit for, but it makes sense.
You talking about Maslow?
Yeah, him. So the hierarchy of needs. So here's the thing: anytime a human being those needs aren't met, that could stimulate a different emotion: sadness, depression, disappointment, all that kind of stuff. Now, what happens with that sadness and disappointment? You got to be able to manage that. You got to learn how to manage it. If not, it can turn into anger. So what anger ends up being is a mismanaged or undermanaged emotion, out of control. So when you have these kids coming in, and I end up getting a chance to meet some of the parents sometimes, I have to interact with them. Parents mad as hell too. They mad too until I begin to peel back some layers and start talking to them.
Right.
And then, but um, we dealing from fear, a lot of fear. A lot of our
I
communities,
think that's the main component.
fear is one of the biggest ones. Dealing with a lot of fear,
I
and
think that that's what mine was. I think that's what mine was. I think I was scared to death, man.
Yeah.
what's this?
But
Yeah.
Eric, Eric, just so we can, help each other out, in our thinking about this. And that is awesome that you work with kids, you
Uh-huh.
know, who are in the justice system, because we all know that about 90% of human beings incarcerated are people of color, all the way from the youngest ones to the oldest ones. At any rate, as a person working with these young people, and you're seeing a lot of anger, what is your organization doing to help them turn their anger into something more productive and useful? What are you guys doing? Are you there, Eric?
Sorry, I'm here. I pushed the wrong button. Yeah, I'm here. Okay, they do what is called cognitive behavioral therapy or cognitive behavior training, or you may have heard of
Yeah,
rational behavior training,
yeah.
I
RBT,
did both of those. I'm sure
CBT.
Jamie did those too. I did them.
Okay, so that's what they use.
Mhm.
But that in itself is very, I would just say, it's very skeletal. It's like the bones, but you have to put some flesh onto that. That's what each individual person who presents information does. There's a lot of room, depending upon who's doing groups, there's a lot of room for them to put bring good information. But what they offer, what the county offers, oh no, it don't, it doesn't fit. It doesn't suit
It doesn't work.
the need. No, and they're not trying to fix that anyway. So to ask what they're doing, they're housing them and they're making money off of them. That's what they're doing. But
Basic.
the people who work there, I can tell you what I do. That's probably a better answer. But
Yeah, that was the question.
no. She said, what are they doing?
Oh, okay, okay,
What the county's doing?
What
So
your organization was doing. Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
My
what they're
bad.
doing. Yeah. So what I explained to her is giving the background of what program they're using. And it seems like since I've been there, they'll shift and maybe add another program to another dynamic to the program. They'll get some therapists. They'll get our therapists to go out and listen to some other therapists speak about how good this other component is. They'll come back and spend this money on it, try to implement it, and they don't see the results that they thought they were supposed to see. And then they just push it onto the wayside. So they play a lot of those games as if they really try to stay cutting edge.
Wow.
But what needs to happen and what is happening are two different things. So it leaves it up to the people who work there with the youth, myself, and right now where we are, Mr. Hill, elder who used to work there, he retired, so we lost one brother. So it's me. I'm the only black man now that works there. Well, me and another guy, another black guy, and that's it. And I take that back. We got one. I take that back. Who works directly with the youth. We got one brother, which is a good thing, who just came in. He used to be a director of the prisons here in Michigan. But now he did that for I think about 30 years. He retired from that, 30 something years, retired from that, decided to come because he said he would like to help some people who look like him. So he come in, he's our new director. So him and I have been in talks about this particular thing, what's being done and what needs to be done. So, I'll tell you, like I told him, like I said about what we have right now is just the basic stuff, elementary stuff, but what they need to hear, what we need to do is put them in the picture of their growth and development. And I began to, probably years ago, when I was studying Naim Akbar years ago, back in the 90s, his first book, was a small book, Vision for Black Men. And I let that be my foundation there. And so we talk a lot about the brain. I talk to them about how their brain works, parts of their brain, and the development of the brain, and talk to them about emotions and where they come from, and give them scenarios of how and when and why to deal with emotions. So again, from my whole time working, I've kind of developed my own spiel of how to present the information. So, which leads me to my next step. Once me and the director started talking, uh, I am now in the works put my information together now to present, to have my own curriculum to work with the at-risk youth, not just at my facility, but that's going to be the starting ground there, and then from there we'll see what we can do with the rest of the state and see who else want to get into it. But my yacht is now the pots with people out here who are from the East Coast who are starting the youth programs and things like that. I'm starting to hear a lot about brothers and sisters using that as a foundation of behavior modification.
Mhm.
So that
Wait.
definitely will be part of what I'm doing now, what I'll be creating in the near future. But anger by itself, talking about anger with kids, no, you gotta talk to them about some roots or where it come from. A lot of times it's fear. A lot of times these same little boys, because you fear what you don't know, and little boys learn shit from, well, most boys, and rightfully so, we look at older boys or men to learn stuff from.
Mhm.
And that was my experience. My life was, I grew up with my mother and father, and if we drove 4 miles one direction, I'm at grandma and grandpa's house. You know, So I grew up with the foundation, mom, dad, and that balance. Um, and what has changed, that conversation is foreign to the young brothers I speak to now. It's foreign to
Right.
hear me talk about sitting at breakfast with mama and daddy, or just doing mama and daddy kid stuff, just going on vacation, anything like that. That's foreign. So much so that I really don't like fucking bringing it up, because it's like, I try to do it in a different way, but I just say that to say, so without them even experiencing these things, they know something is not right in their lives.
Mhm.
And they understand that as soon as they go outside and talk to somebody else, it's going to be apparent what's missing in their lives, because the other friends are going to be talking about it. Anger for somebody who's not there, who is mother, father, whoever it is. Anger that they don't have, that they feel that they need, that they should have. Anger because there ain't nobody there to make sure they feel safe.
Okay.
Fear, but it's all because of fear. You scared if you gonna get jumped. You scared if somebody gonna come turn the lights off. You scared if y'all gonna get evicted. You scared if the mama finna get fought on by the dude who creep over there every night. Look, these stories is bananas. These stories is bananas. Any person, anybody, just coming out of a life like that, you have to applaud them if they living upright, man, as an adult, without no issue, because all of the information, a lot of times I got access to, man, sometimes it goes so far back to who got a record. The grandparents could be in the penitentiary, man, had all these records and stuff. So I'm studying all this. This helps me get an understanding of who I'm dealing with. But you're talking about some horrific situations that these shorties are coming out of, and then girl and boy, and then to know that they don't know how to deal with what's going on inside of them, and no one around them to help them with that until they get in trouble.
And that's really sad.
And get the medication.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. But I can go on and on with this. This is a deep conversation. But what we must do, how do we transform anger? We teach that anger is an emotion that we all have, and when we need it, you have to know how much of that spice to use to be your friend. That's what I tell them. Anger can help you get out of certain situations. Anger can be a power source, but you have to know and how to use it as such. And that's where I go with them with that. So just teaching them not to have the emotion, but have control over all your emotions all the time.
Yeah.
That is the power. That's the power source. Teach them where their power source comes from and teach them how to get to it. That's it. That's the bottom line. So that's for anybody. That's for any person. But a lot of these kids, I'm sorry, a lot of these kids, you do have to deal with what has caused the anger, because they want answers to why the father isn't there. They want answers to why the mama got these dudes coming over. They want answers to why she fight with this cat, but she give him money, and and this kind of stuff. And then they go without because she's doing other stuff with money. They want answers to those questions. Then they want to be empowered. These answers need to empower them. But the answer they're getting is sending them to the streets to try to make understanding out of the situation. And then they listen to people they same age or 2 or 3 months older who don't got a damn clue what they talking about. So you got like the Lord of the Flies, everybody following each other to hell, and they're making poor choices. And now it ain't hard. It's not unlikely for us to get a 13, 14-year-old who done got a few gun charges already, and probably got a few bodies on his belt on the regular, because they mad as hell. So yeah, I talked to him a lot about anger. That's one of the main conversations we have. That's one of the biggest situations, the girls and the guys. And it's not,
So
it's not even talking about the girls.
Well,
I tend to my experience, at 50, I was 54 at the time, is the introduction and the encouragement to study the traditional culture, right? The traditional culture, and that is a useful tool to transform anger into something more productive. It has been for me. Carrie expressed that, she's seen it. I know people abroad recognize that they might not be able to identify it because I don't go out there all like that, but with the expressions of my art and the culture and stuff like that. But I think that is a key component, because everything else is pretty typical. even though they don't, they're just getting into, identifying their feelings and feeling okay with that, identifying that they got a fear like Jamie just did, and being willing to go and research that and stuff like that. But that traditional culture is what's missing. And it really helped me. So.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody else got any input, any feedback, any feelings? No. Okay, so we'll go forward.
Thank you for your patience, Queen.
I'm the oldest of 8 kids, and patience is a virtue with me.
Right.
They still think I'm their mama.
Right, of course.
So in this, discussion about anger, and I really appreciate Eric because he's out there on the front line with young people, like I am. I'm in the employment field, and he's, in the juvenile justice field, and most of both of these kids are Black kids or Hispanic kids, who are just troubled children, who have conflicting emotions that they don't know how to control. So they do.
And they become adults. They end up becoming adults with those
Yes.
same conflicting issues if they're not addressed.
They never. So with that said, then we need to heal. We need to let the healing begin in our homes, with our children, in our community. As the people, we need to let and allow and admit that there's some healing that has to be done.
Right.
Mentally and spiritually. The definition from Webster's about healing, it says to make free from injury or disease, to make sound or whole, to heal a wound, to make well again, restore to health, or men to make something new, to restore.
Right.
We as a people need restoration. We don't need reparation. We need restoration.
Restorative justice.
Yes, we do. So let's talk about,
my question would be, how do we make that attractive though? How do we make that turning that anger into a positive effect? And how do we make that healing attractive? Because what that denotes,
okay, so to answer your question, that's what we're going to get into. So
okay. Because what that brings up in a fellow like me is, man, that makes me really vulnerable, right? And in a real sense, because I know the other side of it, because I did the work, right, is that it makes me really strong. And then I got to be able to squash that too, minimize that into an effective approach and delivery, right, and a demeanor,
Absolutely.
I think it's in the wording, right? Because people, when you say healing or therapy or stuff like that, right? That right there in itself, young people don't want to be involved in that, because then they take that as a sign of something's, a weakness or something. You got to get therapy.
A deficiency.
Right.
They got a deficiency. Correct.
Right. So I think it's all in the wording. So if it, like 10 steps to healing. So if you were to change that to 10 steps to knowing thyself, that's the same thing pretty much. Right. And that, I think it's the wording that right there that wouldn't raise an alarm. 10 steps to healing to a youngster, right? Because the youngsters be like, well, goddamn it, I'm cool. I ain't healed from what? You know what I mean? That's what they think.
Youngster, right. A youngster already think they all powerful, so they want to be powered up. If anything, you want to speak to their power.
So if it was like 10 steps to knowing thyself, bang, right? Now you go, it ain't so offensive to the youngster. Hey, I'm just saying, man. I mean, that's how these youngsters thinks, man. They don't want to be involved in no therapy. They think that's a sign of weakness, right?
Right.
They don't want no therapist. You know what I mean? They don't want nobody to know that they go into a therapist once a month, or
Yeah.
having some kind of session once a month, or once every 2 weeks or something like that. They don't want people to know that,
Yeah. They
right?
are the young people that I work with, you know, they taught me a lot about that this generation's mentality and how they see things. So if I was presenting to that group of people, I probably would change the title to 10 steps to knowing yourself or empowering yourself. No, discovering yourself, because it all depends on your audience. As you got to know who you're presenting to and who you're trying to communicate with. Not that, and since I knew we had a bunch of old folks in the room today, I just thought I'd use healing. But when I get with the young
So
folks,
I get it. I get it. I'm just saying. I mean, like said, one thing he said was, "How do you make that attractive?" And I'm
right.
saying, like, a lot of it has to do with the wording.
Oh, sure.
If you worded it differently, man, people would, yeah, people would. But when you get to talking about, in the realms of therapy and therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists and
treatment.
treatment, yeah, treatment itself,
Right.
people get weird about, they get weird with that, especially youngsters. They don't want the homeboy to know the damn therapy. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's so that's what I'm saying, man. Like, if they could find a way, like Eric said, to implement into his therapy the 42 laws of my art. You know what I mean? What? Hey, I hear somebody back. It's a
Okay, so
TV on or something.
let's explore this, because as I was putting it together, uh, based on post-traumatic slavery syndrome book, I saw the laws of my aunt. So let's go through them. So the first one is truthfulness. Isn't that a law of my aunt? My aunt Hotep.
Queen is ready with it.
Truthfulness. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Number one, you know, because the society that we live in, is always telling lies. It's built on lies. But in the spirit realm of Ma'at, truthfulness is like priority. So
Principles.
in our journey to knowing ourselves, right? In our journey to realizing that we are people of power, right? Because the word empower means to put power into, right? But I believe with all my heart that what we should do, those who are on this journey and acquiring this knowledge, that we don't empower people, we draw power out of people. We reveal the power, because I think that's what happened to me. Nobody put power in me. It was already there.
Exactly.
And I had to acknowledge it and learn how to cultivate it. And that's what I think one of the issues is with a lot of us. We have the power. Anybody remember that old song? It was a disco song. I've got the power. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the
Yeah,
power.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Doom,
Yeah, I
doom,
remember
doom,
that. I remember that song.
doom. Oh yeah.
So that song said a lot. She didn't say, I need the power. She's saying, I got the power. So we
Right.
have the power. So we need to tell the truth about our power. It's the foundation of health. So know yourself. That's my aunt. Know yourself, your history, right? And your personal legacy. Know yourself. Then three, tell your story. Everybody got a story that's gonna help somebody.
Right.
Tell your story. Preserve memories for those to come. There's some folks coming behind us. Oh God, what was that guy's name I used to listen to? Anyway, he used to say that there's so many books in the graveyard that nobody ever read because
No doubt.
people took their story to the grave. You know, my mother's 80 years old, right? And I always ask her about the things that she went through. You know, what kind of person was my grandfather? What kind of person was my grandmother? You know, how was it to be the youngest in the family? How did your sisters and brothers treat you? I mean, what was your dreams and stuff like that? So we need to preserve those memories and tell those stories for the kids and the young folks, generations who are coming behind us. So, you know, in our steps to healing, we're going to look beyond healing and seek to be healthy. Let's not just talk about it, about healing, about being healthy. I mean, let's actually do the work. And when I say that, I'm talking to myself. Do the work, Queen Yamaya. Don't just look beyond the healing. Do the work to be healthy and be an example of a person who is embracing healing. That's number one. I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to y'all, but I'm
Yeah.
talking to myself first.
And that's where the power is. I think that's where the power is in the personal experience.
Absolutely.
You know, especially working with these kids, man. There's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to just get past. It's a lot of work to look past a person with no experience, but a great message, right?
In my area of work with young people, I have to be an example. You know, I can't now at my job, they call me Miss Charlie. Okay, the young people call me Miss Charlie. So, but they call the other instructors and stuff, let them call them by first name. I do not allow that.
Right.
I don't allow that because see, I have wisdom and you don't. So you're gonna call me Miss, Mrs., but you're not just gonna be calling me by my first name. So that makes you think we're on the same level. No, we are not. You know, but
right.
So I have to be an example, right? So number 5 says build esteem. You know, we talked about vacant esteem, you know, where people don't value themselves. Healthy esteem is when you value who you are. You value your contribution. You value your truth. You value your story. You value your health. So build that esteem. Build it in a healthy and accurate way.
One thing I heard was you build esteem by doing esteemable things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Do good in the world. Be a contributor, you know, to the community. Don't always be taking or terrorizing, you know, or using anger and violence to keep things up under your control. Do something good. Be a contributor. You know, build your esteem, build your inner self, value yourself. To thy own self be what? True.
Yeah.
To thy own self. Because when you can be true to yourself, then it's easy to be true. It takes some time, but you can do it.
Yeah.
We can do it. So control your inner world by managing stress and conflict. You know, it's something about getting older. The older I've gotten, the more I have a made up mind, like Mary J. Blige, no more drama.
Right. Right.
No more drama. So
Right.
I have become very good at managing stress and conflict because I stay in my lane. I don't give a damn about what other people think about me or say about me. I've decided that I'm just gonna live my life like it's golden, and I've decided that however you want to live your life, That's your business. Hey, you ain't get no judgment from me.
Wow.
Don't mess with mine, and I won't mess with yours. So that's how I control my inner world.
There it is. There it is. Gary is really similar too. You know, she just stays in her lane. I'm looking at her sometimes like, speak up, say something. do like I do. do like I do. Right?
But that is so important, you know. And so I think that Eric and his work with young people is part of his curriculum, part of his passion, you know, part of his desire to see, especially Black kids get better, is for them to control their emotions. That's your inner world. You know, one of the classes I teach for my group of young people is emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I teach that, and then I live in front of them. You know, they need to know that, you know, their emotions are controllable. You're in control of you. No, you don't have to let nobody else be in control of you. So I teach that. So racial socialization, cultural preparation of the future. You know, when I thought about this, when I was a little girl, a very deep chocolate little girl with short hair, and you know, I was nowhere near light, because you know, we have problems between each other as Black people. You know, we were separated, and that came from slavery times too. We had the real dark ones that worked out in the field, and the light ones that the master had produced, and he let them live in the house. But that's how they did it, kept us divided. Okay. So, but my mother never really taught me about the how can I say it, the challenges that I was going to be confronted with because of my ebony skin when I went to school. She never really got into that. So a lot of kids go out into the society and they're not prepared for the discrimination, whether it's coming from white people or whether it's coming from Black people, because I was discriminated initially by Black people. Seriously, in school, I could raise my hand and I would never get recognized, but the little light-skinned girl would. When I stood in line to get into an advanced college program, I'll never forget it. A Black man was recruiting, I think I was in the 11th grade or the 10th grade, recruiting students from the high school to go into a program called Upward Bound, you know, to go to Case Western Reserve University. And so my little buddy Julie, she was like, beautiful girl. She, you know, she was biracial. She had beautiful long hair. She was just a beautiful girl. And so she went in there with the recruiter, and you know, they were in there and they were talking and talking and talking. And so they went over in my appointment, right? We all had appointments. So I finally got in there and I sat in front. He looked at my records. I see you got pretty good grades and do. And he just blew me off. He just blew me off. He cut the appointment was already short. And it was like my grades didn't really matter. My performance didn't really matter. My history in school didn't really matter because he had spent all his time with my classmate, you know, who was biracial, had beautiful hair, was a beautiful girl. I'll never forget that. Never, ever forget that. You know, but my mother, nobody prepared me to receive that kind of treatment. So, you know, we need to educate our kids, especially Black people, about the things they may encounter. I mean, like now, you know, we've got, I think it's a book called Driving While Black. Right. Now we got to write books. We got to write books. Right. How to survive as a Black person in this culture. Right. Crazy. So, but we got to do it. We got to socialize our kids and let them know, you know, what they're going to run into as being Black. Okay, so 8.
Let me just say, from the other 5 ones you were expressing about the traditional culture of going to the grandparents and your parents and asking them about their
Yeah.
conditions, and that just brings so much healing to them, to us, and then you can pass that on. So what I've done is I put out there to my a few of my children, and for their grandkids, to be able to come and spend some time with me, get some of that culture, and
Yeah.
and get some of that family, and get some of that healing. And within that is going to be what you were without, growing, right? And I'm sure my kids are, schooling them anyways, but nevertheless, from the traditional source, right? And
Right.
then I think that's what's really lacking. These children nowadays are trying to, raise their kids without their parents in their life so much because of independence and pain, and so it just takes me right back to the ripple effect from
Mhm.
ancestral influxes
Yes.
abroad, and the lack of interest in our cultural traditions, right?
Right. Right.
I think
Well,
that's they're like the big components and answers to your questions, and obviously your 10 steps to healing.
right. Right. That, and that is so important, that the elders share their life and their story with the younger people in their family, because that's where it starts. It starts in the family, and it's just so sad that trickle down effect of destroying the Black family, that's trickled down from slavery, the
Yeah,
division in the Black family.
correct.
The father being absent in the Black. I didn't understand that for a long time until I stepped into my consciousness as how a man could create a child with a woman, and that child is a mirror and a part of him, and how he could just walk away from that child and not be in his or her life. I asked that question a long, long time, because my mother was married to my dad, and for 15 years he was around, and one day he just walked away. And all around me, I saw that. I saw my friends' dads not be in their life. I saw some.
Did you ever find out why he walked away?
Um, I never found out why my dad walked away. Never found out.
And there's another aspect to this, and one of my guys that introduced me to, the intro of studying, Jamie really jumped me off, but these guys, where I was just watching their posts and talking to them and stuff, and what he said was his father was pushed out of the house,
Mm,
and it related to that portrait of Jesus
mm,
on the wall, right? So the Black male loses interest in the woman. I mean, the woman loses interest in the man, and puts that reliance upon that Jesus, right? And that man or that woman needs that accountability. They need that assurance, right? That they are that provider, that they are. But no, let's take it to Jesus, right?
right.
And it gets all that. And when Mo expressed that to me, because it was a personal experience, right? And that really just never left me, right? And so my studies began to go deeper, right? To go Blacker, right? That doesn't mean bad. We know that. That means deeper into our history, right?
Right.
And so
Deeper into our
not only so that has that effect on that home, and in Black on Black relationships, because of that reliance and that demand
Mhm,
for Jesus,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And I think that's been a major default.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But
Because
Along with the post-traumatic slave syndrome, right?
right, along
but
with
Related
that,
to all that.
slave syndrome. Excuse me. It definitely uh, is a valid point, especially when you look at the Black church and you see that the congregation of most Black churches is 90% female.
Right.
90% female.
can
Female
I
and children,
interject? Can I say something real quick?
Yeah,
of course.
Okay. One of the things that was done during slavery, first and foremost, is that it wasn't allowed. First of all, you weren't allowed to get married, so you surely weren't allowed to show affection to your significant other if you just happen to uh,
Come on.
be a girl, have a girlfriend or anything. So, so by you showing affection could mean that it's time to break y'all up, separate y'all. So now you begin to be conditioned to be mean to that woman or act like you don't care about her, just in hopes that the master don't really understand if y'all got a relationship or not. So,
right.
but see, it's a deeper thing too, is that we, even before, if you study some cultures that have been doing the same stuff for the last 5,000, 4, 5,000 years, some cultures didn't ever elevate their woman to the level of goddess.
Right.
And so we understood early on that if Dr. Clark taught me this, that if there was going to be a God in our culture, there was going to be a goddess, meaning that
Right.
we had a high level of respect and adoration for the woman. But now, if it's a matter of, if you come out of that and now you're in a situation where it's a matter of survival, and now I can't show you that you are the greatest thing to me, I have to pretend you're not in order to hopefully save you and me too.
Right.
That went out of control, and you watching your master mistreat that woman. So now
Exactly.
if that master is mistreating that woman, you coming from a young age, you starting to see there is no level of respect there. I don't have to respect her. When I get to be grown, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna imitate that imitator. So you get a lot of learned behavior. That's why you get that kind of stuff.
There you
It's
go.
learned behavior.
Yeah.
But not saying that you don't have that in tribes now where you got just the disrespect and dehumanization of women. Uh, you hear that even in Africa right now. You hear some Muslim groups coming in, Boko Haram or whatever his name was, and taking them girls, man, and taking them to their camp and mistreating them and things like that. So we still got a global issue.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Sure.
because once that colonization took place, see, when that cat did his whole thing and tried to move across this world, he was bringing that with him. That take the woman out the picture, put the man first, and it's a man's world. Period. The woman's there to keep reproducing and make bread, and
That
that's
was
it. She
that
don't got
was
no voice. She can and look. And when he made the laws, Constantine, then when they made the laws about the church, no, she ain't got no divinity in her. No.
Exactly.
So now look at all this shit. This is an environment that us was put in.
right.
We were removed from the incubator.
Right.
So anytime you move from the incubator, you gonna take on the attributes of your incubator, of the one that whichever one that is. So
There you,
what was yours? Watching the master treat folks how he wanted to. A
that's
lot of
right.
times mistreated her dog and talked about it being slept with her and had babies by her.
Hmm.
And I agree with you, Eric. And I was gonna say the same thing, man. A lot of it is learned behavior because you remember back when they had a law. They had a law. It was a rule. If you was on welfare, the man couldn't be in the house.
Yes,
You
yeah,
you
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you
oh
you
yeah.
you
the
you
red
remember?
line, the red
Oh
line.
yeah, in the projects. If you was getting some benefits from the people, then he couldn't be there.
He couldn't be there. He
No.
couldn't. He better not get caught there. And, and
Yeah,
dudes would shoot out.
Y'all
They
remember that
shoot
show?
out the
What was
back
that
door.
show with
If the lady showed up
James
to the
Earl
front door, the
Jones?
dude was on his way out the back door. You know what I mean?
Claudine.
And she
That was
better not
that was the
have
movie
nothing in the
Claudine.
closet,
Yeah.
huh?
But
Yeah,
okay,
that movie
we
Claudine
can
was about that with James Earl Jones.
I
You couldn't,
remember
the
that.
woman
I
couldn't even
remember
have too many damn appliances. Shit, she had to hide the toaster and all that old shit. That's part of control, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
And
but
so
you
so
know
then,
so
what?
and then this,
We
and
can
then they
attribute.
put, then they put all
We
these
can
single women
attribute.
in the
Hold on,
project.
hold on, one at a time, one at a time.
Yeah, we can attribute that to systemic racism. It's just in the system. Period.
Yeah, red line,
Yeah.
and then
And
we're talking.
there's so many areas that we can dive deeper into as far as systemic racism, redlining, and a whole bunch of stuff, that, we could just take one Sunday and just go into it and just focus on that. But we're just gonna proceed about the 10 steps to healing. I think I was on 8.
And let me
But
just say this one thing. I
yeah,
don't want to leave out the influx of that Jesus effect, because Jesus allowed, it's allowed to demean,
yeah,
right? It's allowed to demean.
oh,
So
definitely.
I just didn't want to leave that out because it's all pertinent to me, at least.
Yeah, but that very subject, Eric talked about Constantine.
Yeah,
We can go into the Council of Nicaea,
correct.
and there's a couple other things that we can explore and research and get a real good picture and a better understanding of how all that came into play, how it was structured purposely to control, and how it played into the chattel slavery scenario, and how Black people, even though they brought their own spirituality with them across the water, how they were intelligent enough and resilient enough to know that they had to adopt their minds to that concept in order to survive.
right. And
It,
like I said, I just wanted to add this last little part and just say that, that was my point was that's the reason. So some of the reasons why the man could make a baby and run off. You know what I
oh,
mean? You know what I
definitely.
mean? That's just some of the reasons why that kind of thing was happening. And not to mention, I mean, and he can't take away from the people that just is just deadbeat dads too. You just, you're gonna always have that too. You can't take that from the equation either.
But you know
I,
what? Until we as a people learn these things and acknowledge these things and acknowledge our part in it, and how can I say it? Express our remorse for the things that we have done to one another. Not that,
Atonement.
yes, atonement. Then we will, that mentality will stay there, and we will be stuck still as a people. So it's 4:08. I got to keep going. So another thing we got to do is build upon our strengths, past and current. We're not a weak people. I don't see nothing weak about Black people. After looking at all that we have had to endure, I don't see weak people. I really don't. We're strong people. We're intelligent people. We are survivalists. We're kind, and we're loving people. So we need to build upon those things in order for us to go forward. And as far as health, number 9, we got to model health. That means we have to be an example. We just can't be talking about it, criticizing people for being overweight or whatever. We need to be that healing. We need to be the healing. Be the change that you want to see. You can talk about it all day for as long as you want. But if you are not actually applying these concepts, if you're not applying, you can know 100 laws of Ma'at. But if you're not living it, what's the point? What is the point? Application. Number 10, look in the mirror Don't look at your friend. Don't stop blaming your mama. This is only Queen Yamaya talking. You know, look in the mirror, point the finger at yourself, and realize growth and change are continuous. People grow and they change all the time. That means me. That means you. That means Carrie. That means that means Eric. That our minds, our physicalness, and all of this, all of those traits about us, they're changing all the time. And we have to deal with that, embrace that, and accept that and grow in that. Okay. I love the word Sankofa. A word in the Akan language of Ghana means reach back and get it. It is not wrong to go get it, get your stuff, get what belongs to you, get your head together, go get your stuff. It belongs to you. It's not wrong to go back for that which you have forgotten. Now we're all woke up, you know, we're on our brains have had the light has come on, we see better, we vibrate better, you know, we are understanding the world better. So now we realize what was left behind, and it's not wrong to go back and get it. Ashe.
Ashe.
That's the end of my presentation, everybody.
Oh, snap.
Hey, Ashe, Ashe is a word of affirmation, right? Similar to the word amen. At the end of the prayer, it means right on. Yes, I am with you. I can dig it. So when someone says something like something you like, say Ashe, loud and proud. For it's definitely not a meek and retiring word. It is bold and powerful and affirms out loud that which resonates in the heart as true. Hey, that's what's happening, man. I like that. Hey, that was a really powerful part two. Hey, man. Hey, I really appreciate it, Queen. You did you know, once again, you knocked it out of the park. Hey, I really appreciate you, man. You are a asset, honestly, a true asset, man. And hey, we just really appreciate you, man. What y'all think, King?
I enjoyed it totally, 100%.
Yeah.
Ashe.
Gary?
I love this presentation. Thank you, Queen. You bring positive feelings to me. I almost cried through some of it, and in a positive way. I love it. I appreciate your spirit a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome, Carrie. You're welcome.
Yeah, so for me, you know, you already know it's top level for me, right? And I didn't use one cuss word. That's good. And so you know, I so much appreciate you that I sent the invite to some people that I thought would that I know would really appreciate this. But they didn't get in, but they be peeping on the YouTube channel, right? They be peeping, so they'll get in. Plus, I'm going to send this one to them, right? I'm going to send this one to them, and one of them has a platform, Comedic Life, right? And so on Facebook, Comedic Life, really good platform. And so I'm going to send it to her too, and she'll probably post it on her page and stuff. So. I really appreciate you, Queen. I love your demeanor, and I love that my wife, you know, really appreciates and looks forward to you as well. And you know, we're fortunate to have you on here, you know. Thank you so much. And Eric, I don't know what Eric gonna bring next week, but just one having conversations with him, and
Okay.
he's breaking out these books and stuff, and the scroll that he broke out, man. I looked that scroll up. I'm getting one of them scrolls, and so
Okay.
my thing is, to both of you, is that I really appreciate you being a major part of my life. You know, especially on this road to recovery from that post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yeah, yeah. We all have it.
Hey, you
Yeah.
know what? You know, I'm gonna tell you, man. You know, my immediate family members, man. Like I don't know if y'all know anything about this, man. But back in the day, they had the Catholic Church was snatching Native American children out of the homes and putting them in these boarding schools, right?
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this, but they were
Mhm.
doing this, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this part either, but they were finding a lot of dead Native American kids,
Yeah.
you know, that had been murdered in these boarding schools. You know, they were mistreated, raped, and all this other kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was just only to get them, you know, Americanized. They didn't want them to learn their culture. They couldn't speak their language. They
Yeah.
couldn't, you know, they had to do Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? It was a Catholic church that was doing this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so I say that to say that my mother and her brothers and sisters, her brothers and sister were in those.
Boarding schools.
They were in those boarding schools.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? For years and years. And my mother didn't get out till she was 18.
Wow.
Right,
Wow.
but she was. I think she went when she was like 8. I think she was 8 when she went. So she, you know what I mean. So she survived. She was one of the survivors of that. Right.
Wow.
So she also is going through a PTSD as well. You know what I mean, from that treatment of that or those boarding schools that she was in. You know, like I said, it was just a lot of abuse going on at those schools. You know what I mean? A lot of murders, a lot of those
Yeah.
kids was getting killed. You know
When
what I
did
mean?
you find that out, Jamie?
Well, I've been knowing this, man. I've been knowing this for a long time, man. Like,
I know. Who's keeping notes? Who's keeping notes about subjects we can pursue?
So
Okay.
yeah,
we already know we're gonna
I
do the
think
one.
good
So
one.
Eric, she was
Maybe.
talking about hey, Eric, just real quick, I got your note. I got your message. I got your message, Eric. And so she was talking about each one of us breaking down, taking a section of Ma'at, the 42 laws of Ma'at, and presenting that, you know, throughout a period of time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my speaker was off or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let me just say real quick. I know you gotta leave. I know you gotta leave.
Yeah.
But I was just saying that the Queen brought up, if each one of us take a section of the 42 laws of Ma'at and present it weekly, that would be really sweet.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so Jamie's going to give us a presentation on the treatment of the Native American in colonization. I'm giving you that title because that's deep right there.
Okay, sweet. So that's two subjects. That's two subjects. Reg is gonna do the one on survival, you know, surviving what is it better say, survival techniques, right? You know, for in times and stuff like that if we ever need them, right? So Reg is gonna do that, and then the 42 laws of Ma'at. And then Jamie, did you agree to doing that presentation on the boarding schools?
well, I mean, I could. I mean, you know,
Are you gonna say no?
from what I know, I mean, I don't. I had to look. Yeah, I had to do a lot of. How long from now? When is this?
Whenever you get it together. If you're interested. Queen Amaya just said, Jamie's gonna do this one, so I'm just saying, are you gonna back out?
No, I ain't got no problem with that. I'm just saying, I mean, I'm gonna need some time though.
How long
Okay.
y'all gonna be on this Zoom right here?
We getting ready to get off.
Yeah,
Alright.
we can ready. Yeah, we can ready to be
Well,
done.
just plug up with me later on and let me know what you want me to do, how many, how y'all want to split them up and that kind of thing.
Okay, we'll let you know that, man. But so you up for next week? You still up for next week to do it?
I sure, yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So that'll be, we talking about, the next month, next month. We'll work
Okay.
it all
Yeah,
out.
we got no time for that.
We'll get everybody informed.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. That sounds good,
All right.
man. Hey.
Well, I
So
thank y'all for everything, man. But I'm gonna have to run real quick, and if you all are gonna be on longer, I can probably get back with y'all. But I gotta dip off real quick.
No, that's good, man. We about to close out anyways, man. Thank you for your presence, Eric.
Okay.
And your
All right.
scholarship, King.
All
Yeah,
right,
thank
Queen.
you.
Nice meeting you, and thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right, y'all have a good one.
Peace, King.
All right, peace out. All right.
Take care.
So Queen Yamaya, I got down Jamie doing that, and then the 42 laws of mind. Those are the only two we talked about.
Okay. That's good.
Hey, and okay, so yeah, that sounds good, man. All right, so family, we're gonna close out, man. So so I just want to say I'm gonna close out first, and then Unc, and then Queen, you can go last, right? I just wanted to say, thank everybody, thanks for tuning in, man. This is part 2. We have a part 1 of this. If you want to go take a look at that, it's on it should be on Sankofa, and it should be on Facebook as well.
YouTube.
YouTube. I'm sorry. Yeah, YouTube. So it's post-traumatic slave syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGruy. Right? Is that the right pronunciation? Right. And like I said, it's part 1, and this right here is part 2, fam. So just check it out, man, if you missed it. Really good information. Really good questions and answers, right? I just want to tell you guys, next, every first Sunday of every month, we do the children's book read. It don't cost you nothing, man. Just come on, pay attention, get the kids together, man. Grandkids, kids, cousins, nephews, nieces. Come on in, come on and join. First Sunday of every month, we are going to do a raffle for the kids. And then, like I said, the raffle includes, we pick a child's name, and as soon as the winner gets a book mailed to them free of charge. You know what I mean? And we hope that the child do the next next slot, the following month slot for the children's books read, right? It's free of charge, man. Good books, real books, real events, true stories, um, you know, uh, and like I said, man, really good quality books, man. It don't cost you nothing. We ain't asked for no donations. We ain't asked for no cash apps or no PayPal or none of that stuff. All we want you is likes and views, you know, comments. Let us know how you feel. You know what I mean? Anyway, Queen Amaya, thank you so much. Hey, King, go ahead, man. I'm cool.
Okay. Yeah. So with those the children's book read, they're actually reading on the 7 principles. So really pertinent and really complimentary to us studying and doing the 42 laws of mind, right? So the kids are already into it, right? They got to jump off on it. And so I just want to let you know that Eric is going to be doing the presentation next week. I'm not sure what it's going to be on, but he's he got 30 years in the game at least. And, so he's bringing really good scholarship. And something I was going to say about Queen Yamaya. Queen Yamaya makes the best sweet potatoes pie in the world. So I'm gonna just roll with that. Okay. I know Carrie can make it, right? I think when we made them, we made like 5 of them, right? Biggins. So, and we told them up too. But nevertheless, thank you, Queen, for, keeping your commitment, and sharing your wisdom and your love and concern with us. I still think, the part of this presentation that most stood out to me was we got to get back to our traditional culture. That's what's missing. That's what's missing. And we're afflicted by the influx, and it seems to have overshadowed the loving kindness that all of us want to exuberate, but we're traditionally hospitable about that stuff. And so, we get back to it and we get wrapped up in, the ways of the world and pride and not wanting to look at our own personal issues. And then we fall to the wayside by saying that, nothing ever is going to change, right? What are you going to change? What's going to be attractive to these people that we're trying to reach, especially the young kids, right? To you guys, the young kids. I know it's important, but my approach is to adults, because I want the adults to step up so kids can be kids, right? I was able to be a kid when I was young, right? And so I just don't see that so much today. And so thank you again, Queen, for your presentation. Thank you, Carrie, for always being present, and thank you for sharing. She's sharing more and more lately.
Yes,
So
that's good.
yeah. I just walked in there and she dropped some jewels on me real quick and stuff. So we got to see if she'll be willing to do a portion of those 42 laws. We'll see.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, that'll be live right there.
Hey, I ain't gonna push it on her, man.
That's right.
I just put it out there.
Just put it out there though. So
I just put it out there
hey,
for a little assistance from y'all.
hey, that was pressure. Hey, that's what that was. Hey, Queen. Hey, Carrie, did you want to close out?
Gary, we're getting ready to close. Just say something.
Thank you again, Queen Yamaya.
You're welcome.
Love you lots, and I appreciate this group. And I'm going to try to read more of this book. And stay positive, everyone.
You too. Thanks, Carrie.
So I'll be telling Carrie, when we get these books, don't be reading them, because I need to read them. Because you know why? She can read through that sucker in one day.
Wow.
Yeah, she bad. She nice with her game, right?
All
Yeah.
right, here.
And comprehend it, and comprehend it, right? So.
Hey, okay, Queen, go ahead and close us out.
Well, I appreciate all of you for who you are and what you have to share, for what you have taught me, how you have embraced me and allowed me to come onto this platform and share the knowledge that I've been blessed with through post-traumatic slave syndrome by Dr. DeGruy, and hopefully, other books that have come across my path and have lightened, my way. I thank my divine mother and my divine father, who's your divine mother and who's your divine father, for bringing me into this time of my life and in my transition of consciousness. And my prayer is that in this new knowledge that we're being blessed with, that we will stay humble. We will stay humble and stay in a non-judgmental zone for those, who are coming along the way, so that we can help them and be sincere and true and allow our light to shine on those who I know are coming, especially with our families, our children and our grandchildren. So be blessed, everybody. And just know that I love you.
Hey, that's why the women are the hierarchy, man, because they always bring that right there, man. And that's it. I'll be ready to get hyphy on some stuff, man, and swear, and I swear it's the right way, right? And then I hear this, man, and I look at my wife, man, and I was like, boy, you a mess, man. It's like Jamie said earlier, you know, I realized I was a mess and I did all that work. And then this dude gonna tell me that I'm a mess, right? You know, so I come with my best. Thank God. Thank our ancestors, the naturals for the women, man. No doubt about it. I'd be a
Hey,
mess. I'd be a mess.
every
And
time.
thinking I'm the best. And thinking I'm the best.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, but you know, that's the way it is, man. I mean, but see, that's where we gotta have that balance. See, that's the balance that you know that we talking about right there. Gotta have that balance, man. Without that balance, man, we gonna, you know, of course you're off balance. Hey, but anyway, hey, look, we're gonna close out and then hey, peace, family, peace.
Peace.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you.
Have
Hey,
a great
So
day.
I'm gonna try and find the other one on